Can you talk to us a little bit about what the talk was in the locker room after your 200 plus score in the first innings, and how you guys were kind of like discussed on how to approach the batting innings and the second innings, chasing that big total?
I think the talk was always positive. I think when you've got some very serious senior players in the change room, the talk's very positive. Unfortunately, things didn't go away, but these sort of things happen in cricket. We all still going to hold our heads up. Still a long competition ahead. A few wins to get a little bit of momentum, and then we're back on the road. But the talk was very positive. I think guys came out and showed the intent. I think Freedom must get given a little bit of credit. They bowled extremely well. Ball swung around a bit. Picked up one or two early wickets which put us on the back foot. I think Sarah bowled a good spell early up to set a trend for them, and the rest of the bowlers that came in followed. Every time we tried to make a play, I think we just lost the wicket, and today we're on the wrong side of luck, I guess.
Anyone else? Sure. Shadley, it's Neil, that's what you're saying. Firstly, sorry on your loss, but how do you guys as a team cope up with a drop catch like that one? It sometimes cost your game. This time probably it did or did not, but that was probably the turning point of the game. How do you guys like manage the pressure, or what the conversations are so that those things don't happen maybe in the next games?
To be fair, I think every cricket individual knows that when they make a mistake, and sometimes, unfortunately, in this time for Trump, it wasn't a nice thing to happen, but luckily he's young, so the nice thing from that, he learns from that amazingly. And I think he's got people that's been in that situation. I know I've certainly been there. I know a few of the senior overseas pros, the locals. I don't think there's one person in the change room that hasn't been there. So he's got guys to lean on. I know he's probably very down on himself now, but I mean, it's a learning curve. It's all part of a bigger process of cricket, and I think he's an incredible cricketer. If he can learn from that, that's probably the right thing to do. I don't think anyone will be upset about him. Things like this happen in cricket. I think we've all seen it throughout every single year, every single time. These things happen. It's just unfortunate that it was him today. As one of the younger guys, I mean, if he takes a catch, maybe the game's different, but then again, maybe Orbis comes and scores a 70. We can't necessarily tell what would happen in the future. Unfortunately, it did happen to him, but I think he's learned a lot from it, and he will learn from it, which is the nice thing for our team. He'll become a stronger player the next game.
Smith Patel from Crick Bus. You've been playing with Saurabh since like 1.5 years now on the same USA team. What do you make of his spell today? I mean, you guys were chasing around like 200, but he stuck to, I guess, his game plan. How was his game plan different than what you guys executed out there?
I don't necessarily think the game plans would have differed as much. I think he landed and hit his length quite well. I think we got hit off of our length early up. The ball probably swung a little bit more in the evening. And with that being done, he just hit his length. He stayed patient. He didn't try anything different. He didn't try anything. I think it's one of those days where he's bowled extremely well. Can't take anything away from him. He swung it. He's hit his lines, his lengths. He's been very disciplined. Hasn't chased any wickets or anything like that. It's something we also tried. We maybe missed one or two, a little bit fuller. One or two of those possibly go to hand, and the game's a little bit different. That's the nice thing or the funny thing about cricket. But with regards to Saurabh, I think he bowled exceptionally well tonight. I think it's things that he's been doing over the last, I think, 2.5 years now. If we very good and honest as US cricket, he's been at the forefront for setting the standard for what bowling should be, and he's done well tonight.
Peter Delapena with US Cricket now. Your final over, Glenn Maxwell was turning down singles. He wanted to be on strike and face as many deliveries as possible. When he's in that mode and literally there's no escape, you can't just concede a single to get him off strike. How do you go about approaching that to combat him when you know you don't have any choice to try and strategically bowl a singleton to try and face the other batter at the outside?
Honestly, in that situation, I actually loved it. I think in hindsight, you can look back and say certain things, but in that situation of the game, T20 is so tight that if you don't take a single, you lose the game by one run. So honestly, in that situation, as a bowler myself, I know I probably bowled the no ball and then got one wrong. If that over goes for less than 10 and he turns down 4 singles, I think that sort of, before we went to bat, would be great. Because T20 is such a crucial, vital time, and one run can be so important. I think all of us as locals know what Orbis can do. as a batter. So I was genuinely very happy when he was turning down singles at the end. Because it's one run is so crucial in T20 cricket. Unfortunately, the batting didn't go away. But if you had to ask me that before our batting innings, I would have been extremely happy to take 3 or 4 runs. I think it was 3 runs that he turned down. And that could have changed the game completely. If we needed, for example, we took it to the end and we needed 4 runs with the last ball, it could have been those 4 runs. So those little critical things at that stage of the game, I was very happy, to be fair.
You guys have one of the best international stars in your team. They can hit like we've seen nowhere in different tournaments everywhere. But the results haven't been on your side. At least this is early in the tournament. What do you think that you guys need to do or will be doing so that the rest of the tournament starts falling back on your side?
I think, to be fair, the only honest answer for that is just to trust the process. I think if we look too far ahead or if we look too far behind, we'll be stuck between 2 places. And I think just staying present in the moment, trusting the process, and it will come off. There's some special individuals in that change room. We can't lie about that. There's guys that win games single-handedly with the bat and the ball, and it takes one knock for that to happen. I think if they and we just keep trusting our process, we'll turn around.
So you guys had 3 international players come into the squad, Holder, Relvman, and Sherfane, and obviously 3 changes in the 11 today. Do changes like that, and the captaincy as well, do changes like that kind of affect a team's rhythm, especially in a sort of short tournament like this, and has that kind of impacted you guys in any way? I
don't think so, to be honest. I think it's franchise cricket and leagues has become the usual way there's chopping and changing and 3 people coming. So I think with those guys coming, they fit in like a glove. I think we've played, probably a few of us played against each other a little bit in the past, so we know a little bit of each other. It's nice to meet great cricketers like that also. So I mean, to pick their brains, it's a learning thing. Understanding the chemistry might take a little bit more time for some, but I think they've been brilliant. They've genuinely just come in and fitted in like they've been here for the last week.
Yep. One of the things that we were discussing before you came in here was just the catching and the drops on the boundary. Even some of the catches have been much more theatrical than necessary, and we're just curious, because this is such a unique venue for cricket purposes and nobody's played here cricket-wise before this week. When you're fielding on the boundary or you're fielding in other areas of the fields, how easy or how difficult is it in terms of sight lines and depth perception and anything that is a distraction that might not necessarily be distraction in some of the other venues like Grand Prairie or Broward or Morrisville that you've played in around the US?
I think it's a little bit of getting used to, but I think everyone before the game starts takes catches sort of in different areas to get used to it. So just they get to sight the ball a certain way. I think what the public don't see is guys taking catches on the boundary before the game starts. So the sighting, I would say every now and then when the sun probably goes down, you probably don't get the full sight of where the ball goes. But as you play cricket, you know, as a batter shapes up for a certain shot, you sort of know which direction the ball's going to go. So with that regard, I don't think it's too bad to pick up the ball. I think the boundaries are short, but I think it's good for cricket in the USA.
Just to follow up on that, when you're talking about the sun, especially in the first innings, kind of in the 15 to 20 over mark, the sun is kind of setting across the 22-yard strip. So does that pose any extra difficulties for guys fielding on the boundary where you're trying to pick up the ball coming off the bat where the shadows are starting to happen and transfer with sunlight and all that kind of thing?
I think because I can speak for myself that was fielding on the boundary in the shaded area. It does take a sort of half a split second to kind of gauge where the ball is going. That's definitely a part, but I don't think it's necessarily extremely bad. I think it's a great venue to play cricket in. I think it's absolutely amazing, and to be a part of something so great that MRC has done is amazing. I think every cricketer would say that it's actually okay. If you don't sight one, it happens in cricket. I think it happens all over the world, whether it's in one-day cricket, T20 cricket, Test cricket. It does happen. You lose sight of balls with, I think, almost every venue that I've played in at least. But for this one, I don't think it was too bad, to be fair.
Thank you, everyone. See you in Dallas.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Shadley.